Watching a programmer demonstrate how simple lines of code could bring instructions to life fascinated him. As Troy grew older, his determination to rise above his circumstances solidified into action. School became his sanctuary, a place where his efforts could lead to something more than just survival. While others in the orphanage went through the motions of attending classes, Troy pushed himself, excelling in every subject he could. He found particular joy in mathematics and logic puzzles, but it wasn't until he encountered his first computer during a school field trip that his life truly changed. The computer lab was unlike anything he'd ever seen. Rows of sleek machines hummed quietly, their screens glowing with infinite potential. Watching a programmer demonstrate how simple lines of code could bring instructions to life fascinated him. It was as if someone had handed him a new language, one that promised the power to create, solve, and innovate. Back at St. Joe's, however, computers were a distant dream. The orphanage barely had the budget for basic school supplies, let alone technology. But Troy wasn't deterred. Determined to learn, he sought out old computer manuals at the public library, borrowing them in secret and studying their contents late into the night. One evening, while rummaging through a donation bin at a nearby thrift store, Troy struck gold, a battered, outdated computer that didn't work. To anyone else, it was junk, but to Troy, it was a treasure. Using spare parts scavenged from the neighborhood junkyard and an old screwdriver borrowed from the orphanage's maintenance closet, he painstakingly pieced the machine back together. When it finally powered on, Troy felt a thrill like nothing he'd ever experienced. That makeshift computer became his window to the wider world. Through trial and error, he taught himself to code, starting with simple programs and gradually advancing to more complex tasks. The process wasn't easy. There were countless nights of frustration, debugging errors he couldn't yet understand, but each small victory fueled his resolve. The more Troy learned, the clearer his vision became. He didn't just want to escape the limitations of his life. He wanted to create something meaningful. He dreamed of building tools that could empower others, especially those who, like him, were eager to learn but lacked the resources. By the time Troy turned 18, his skills in coding had grown remarkable. Teachers took notice of his talent, recommending him for scholarships and internships. With each opportunity, Troy felt the gap between his past and future narrowing. The boy who had once been defined by loneliness and pity was steadily forging a path of his own, one built on resilience, hard work, and a relentless desire to prove that his circumstances would never define him.